Well, hello everybody. This is Josh Nelson with Plumber SEO. Really excited about today's webinar with the PHCC. We're really excited about sharing our ideas and strategies. But just bear with us for a few minutes. We've got a number of people that are registered to log in today and get on today's call. So I want to give everybody a couple minutes just to log in, and then we'll get started here in the next couple minutes. Well, everybody, welcome to today's webinar, how you can market your plumbing and HVAC business online. And the promise is we're going to tell you everything you need to know, from search engine optimization, Google Maps, to social media, to not only get better placement, but to get the phone ringing again and ringing off the hook with people that are looking for your plumbing and HVAC services in the areas that you operate in. This webinar is brought to you by Plumber SEO. We're a leading internet marketing services company. We specialize in working with plumbing and HVAC contractors. We're associate members of the PHCC and had the opportunity to exhibit at Connect in Minneapolis. Had a great time and really enjoyed meeting with and talking with what I feel are the leading plumbing and heating contractors across the United States. So just to give you an idea what we're going to be covering on today's webinar, we're going to start by talking about why search engines and internet marketing are so important for plumbing and HVAC contractors. Then we're going to kind of demystify what's going on the search engines. A lot has changed, even in the last, let's just call it a couple of years, couple of months, where Google has changed what listing it's showing when you search for plumber plus your city. It's kind of tossed in the last year or so the map listings. And a lot of the plumbing contractors I talk with are confused. They don't really understand the difference between the paid listing, the map listing, and the organic section. I'm going to spend some time demystifying what's going on in the search engines so that you can make sure you have an understanding of each of the different components, and more importantly, so that you can put a strategy in place for each to maximize your effectiveness in marketing online. From there, I'll talk about the Google map, right? One of the most commonly asked questions I get is, how can I get my company to show up on that map when someone types in plumber or HVAC contractor or heating contractor in my city? And there's some specific ideas and strategies that we've developed. We're going to be sharing them with you today on how you can claim your map listing, some things you can do to optimize your listing, and what things need to be done in order to ensure placement on the map. From there, I'll talk about how you can improve organic placement. Really getting yourself to show up in the non-paid area of the search engines for all of the different plumbing and heating related keywords in the areas that you operate in. I'll share what I feel is a very critical component of any internet marketing or SEO strategy, which is our 25 most commonly searched plumbing and HVAC related keywords. And that's important because you need to know what people are searching in order to optimize your website. And as I share with you our search engine optimization ideas and strategies, you'll be able to really understand how you can leverage that information, those keywords, to help you really take your online marketing to the next level. I'll share some of the most important directories that you need to be involved in. It used to be that you could buy a nice, full page ad or half page ad in the yellow pages and get almost complete saturation when someone's searching. Was searching for your services, because they would open up the book and that was just pretty much where they went. Well, in today's market, people go to a variety of different places. Some of them go to Google.com, some of them go to Yahoo.com, some go to Bing, and then even more and more there are people going directly to directories, important directories that we found some of our clients are getting great results from. And I'll share those directories with you in the presentation. And then I'll share a specific social media strategy for the plumbing and heating industry. Social media is hot right now, and you hear a lot of information about Facebook and Twitter and Google Plus and YouTube. But most plumbing contractors and heating contractors haven't really figured out how they can use that, how they can leverage those tools in a way that's going to help them get more business, make the phone ring more often, and ultimately have more revenue flowing into the business. And we've developed a specific social media strategy that you can implement right away that will help you leverage those tools and take your business to the next level. So, I mean, a lot of great information. I hope you're excited because I'm excited. And, hang in with me. You're going to get a lot out of this. And this could be a real game changer for your business. So let's start by talking about why search engines and internet marketing is important for plumbing and HVAC businesses. And really, intuitively, it starts with there's been a major transition in the way consumers look for plumbing and heating related services. It wasn't that long ago, let's just call it in the last 10 years, that if somebody wanted to find plumbing or heating services, they went to one predominant place, and that was the Yellow Pages. They found their yellow book, they opened it up, and as long as you had a large ad early on, you had a pretty good probability of getting a lot of inbound calls and having a solid business. As a matter of fact, one of the contractors that I talked with at our booth at the Connect not that long ago told me, Josh, I've got one of the biggest plumbing companies in my area, been around for 25 years. And when people would come up to me and ask what my secret for success was, I would kind of hold my breath and I'd tell them, you know what? A double truck in the Yellow Pages. And he said it with a dead straight face because it was true. You could grow a business, by offering good service, obviously, but by having a good-sized ad in the Yellow Pages. Well, the reality is, today's environment, less and less people are going to the Yellow Pages when they need to find more services. They're just not going at the same velocity as they used to. I'm not going to say it's 100% dead, but I will say, it's 90% less effective than it was even 4 or 5 years ago. So that begs the question, where are people going? Where are they looking when they need your services, when they need those plumbing and heating and HVAC-related services? Well, the answer is, for the most part, they're going to the Internet. A survey was conducted of 2,000 consumers, and it found that more than 86% of those surveyed go to the Internet. They go to Google, or they go to Yahoo, or they go to Bing, or they go to City Search, or they ask their friends on Facebook. They go to the Internet when they're looking for local business. So, that really answers the question. There's been a transition. People are on the Internet. That's where they're looking for plumbing and heating related services. So you need to make sure you have a strategy in place to show up as often as possible on the Internet when people are looking for you. Because it's the new double truck. It's the new secret to getting your company to be one of the largest businesses in your market. Now, as a matter of fact, we have access to historical search trends that we can look at across Google and Yahoo and Bing. And there's over 20 million searches for plumbing and heating and HVAC-related searches on a monthly basis. So there's a major opportunity, and if you can get proactive, if you can follow some of the strategies that we're going to share with you in today's guide and program, you can really position yourself to start being more productive and start getting that phone ringing again like you used to. So now I want to talk about the search engines, especially Google, and kind of demystify what happens on Google when someone types in plumber in your city. And I've got a Google screenshot up right now, and what I have on the screen is a search for a city plus plumber. And the area that I have highlighted is what we call the pay-per-click section of the search engines. And the pay-per-click section of the search engines, that area is a spot where you can buy placement. You can set up a Google AdWords account. That's the tool, or that's the system that manages it. And choose your keywords, your city plus plumber, your city plus plumbing, your city plus emergency plumbing services, and pay for placement in that area. And that placement comes down to an auction process where you're going to be bidding against your competition in order to have position. So, for instance, that number one spot that we see at the top might have been a plumbing contractor there that said, I'll pay $17 for everybody that clicks on my ad. And the guy below that might have said, I'll pay $15, and the guy below that might have said, I'll pay $11. Now, there's more that goes into it. There's quality score considerations, but ultimately, you're bidding for position at some given moment in time, and you're paying every time somebody clicks on your ad. And there's definitely something to be said for quickly getting yourself on the search engines by having a pay-per-click strategy. But just so you understand, that area along the top and along the sides is what we call pay-per-click advertising. It's paid advertising on the search engines. The next area is the map listing, and that map listing is driven by Google Places. A lot of people don't know how they can get themselves listed on the Google map, and there's some very specific things that you can do and some strategies we're going to be sharing with you. But you can't buy your way into the map listings by any stretch of the imagination. You couldn't just say, hey, here's $1,000 a month. I want to be on that map in the top 5 listings. Fortunately, it doesn't work that way. You have to earn your way into the map listings by having relevant content on your website and being a relevant, viable business in your market. And I'll be sharing some specific ideas and strategies on that, in the next section of this presentation. And then below that is the organic section. Also unpaid, nothing you can do to get into the organic section on the search engines. Getting into that area is what we call search engine optimization, that whole phrase. And it all comes down to the content on your website, the on-page optimization, and then more importantly, the number of inbound links pointing to your website that will determine your placement on the search engines. And I'll explain that as well. But ultimately, I just want to make sure everybody's clear that there's 3 major components of the search engines. There's the paid listings that you can pay for positioning in. There's the organic section and the map section. So with that question in mind, a lot of people will ask, well, if I can pay for placement in this pay-per-click area, why would I bother, spending the time and the energy to earn my way into the map and into the organic section? I'd say that's a viable question, right? But the reality is, for whatever reason, when people search on Google, Yahoo, and Bing, they're more apt to look at the organic section, the non-pay-per-click listings. As a matter of fact, I've got a study that was conducted that shows more than 72% of the population, when they search, they go straight to the organic section, and they just kind of skim right over the paid listings. On the right, you've got this crazy image, and what that is it's a heat map, and what it is, it's driven by a piece of hardware that somebody will place over their eyes, and it looks at where their eye is concentrating most of its attention. It's called a heat map. It's kind of a technical way of trying to figure out how active people are when they're looking at the search engines. What you'll notice, the majority of the heat is going straight to the pay-per-click and organic section on the search engines. So I really feel like you want to have a strategy for both pay-per-click and organic. But if you've got a limited budget and resources are not unlimited, then you're best served to focus your time and your energy on where you're going to get the best bang for your buck, the best return on investment, which is by getting your company listed in the organic section, because that's where most people look. And when you're there, there's no per-click cost associated with it. So you're not having to worry about, well, what if some other major competitor comes in and starts outbidding me, and then I have to raise my budget, and it becomes a vicious cycle. Where if you can really position yourself, following the strategies on our webinar and our guide, you can position yourself well in the organic section and on the map and drive a sustainable business for your plumbing and heating company. One of the most commonly asked questions that I get is, how can I get my company listed on the map? On the Google map, when somebody types in my city plus plumbing or heating or AC repair or whatever the keyword is, how do I get myself listed on that map? And there are some very specific things that you can do in order to improve the probability of getting on the map. The very first thing that you need to do is go to google.com/places. Google has a back-end system where they manage, Google Map listings, and it's called Google Places. And you can go to Google Places, google.com/places, and claim your map listing. Some of you might have already done this by now, but if you haven't, take out a piece of paper, open up a notepad, take out your iPhone and make a note to yourself. Do this immediately. Go to google.com/places and follow the process. If you need help, we've developed a guide. I'm going to give you a couple different places where you can access the guide, but it walks you step by step through how to properly claim and optimize your Google Places listing. And ultimately, it's a matter of making sure that you've got your company name, your website address, a phone number for your business. You've put yourself in the right categories. And I'll talk about all of this in more detail, but it's not overly complicated. But you do need to make sure you go ahead and claim your Google Places listing. That way you make sure that you're in control of your listing, and you improve your probability of showing up when someone types in your city plus your services. The next thing you want to do is build out that listing. And by building out the listing, I'm talking about you can upload up to 10 photos and 5 videos. So do it. Get 10 photos. And I recommend don't pull off the nonsensical stock photography that's on your website or that you find online. Take some real pictures. Put your logo first, and then take a picture of yourself, take a picture of your van, take a picture of each one of your texts kind of waving. I love that because what you're doing with that is you're creating personality. You're creating unique content. And when somebody gets to that Places page, they're going to feel like they know, like, and trust you. They resonate with the fact that they know who you are. And do the same with video. There's some simple ways that you can create video by taking images and putting sound behind it. But I recommend, breaking out the camera, whether you hire a professional company or you just use your iPhone. Shoot a video of yourself explaining who your company is, what you do, what your unique selling proposition is, and really fill that out as much as you can. Now, these are things that are going to help your Google Places listing convert better, but just from a scratching off the list perspective, the more built out your Google Places listing is, the more content that you have on there, the more Google seems to give preference to your listing because you've taken the time and you seem like a more credible organization. If you've got the 10 photos, you've got the 5 videos. From there, on your Google Places listing, there's a lot of opportunity to add additional information. So obviously you've got your company name, you've got your description, and then you've got another section below that with custom fields where you can make sure you list all of your services. You can list the cities that you operate in. You can list the different brands that you carry or that you service. So you want to make sure, spend some time on that Google Places listing and really build it out to the furthest extent possible. The other thing actually that helps with placement on the Google Places listing is optimizing your website for the correct keywords. And when I get into the SEO strategy component of today's presentation, I'm going to talk about how you can accomplish some of this. But we found that if you go into your website and you have properly updated title tag that indicates your main service and the main city that you operate in, that improves your probability of showing up on the map as well. Now, another critical component for placement in Google Places is getting reviews. And I want to kind of take a little sideboard here and emphasize you don't just want bogus reviews. You really need to get real reviews. Google's system now is sophisticated enough where it looks at the reviewer's profile and the IP address where the review is driven. So if you're just creating a bunch of random Google profiles and writing reviews for yourself, you're probably going to do more harm than good. Google is going to look at the history of that username and password that was used to write the review. It's going to see whether or not they've written reviews for other plumbing and heating companies in your area or other companies in your area, and then it's going to take that more into effect than just the number of raw reviews that you have. So get reviews and get real reviews. The other thing you want to do is obtain citations. And what we found is the citations, reviews, and having claimed and optimized your Places listing are really the main thing that you can do. Now, a citation is a web reference for your company. It's your company name, address, and phone number listed on various online directories. And there's actually some significant importance associated with having a consistent name, address, and phone number listed. You don't want to just have a bunch of different places that are not consistent. So in other words, if your company name is Joe's Plumbing and Heating, you want to make sure you're listed as Joe's Plumbing and Heating all over the internet and as many places as possible, as opposed to Joe's Heating or Joe's Plumbing. It's semantics, but Google's looking for the consistent use of your company name the same way, address the same way, and phone number. And just one caveat I'm going to put in there. I'm a big advocate for having tracking number on your website so you can track how many calls are coming in and really quantify your return on investment from your online marketing efforts. But on your places listing, on your online directories, and on some place on your website, you need to have your primary phone number listed. That way when Google looks across the web and tries to find out who you are and what you're about, it finds a consistent name, address, and phone number, in a variety of places, and that's what's going to help lend to your credibility. Now, one thing you can do to improve the number of citations that you have is to go out and get listed on all the local directories that are available, or at least as many as you can get your hands on. The main ones are Yahoo, Bing, City Search, Angie's List, Judy's Book, Yellow Page. There's a lot of them. And again, on my guide, I walk you step by step through how to claim your map listing, some ideas on how to get reviews, and also we have a list of the online local directories that you want to make sure you add yourself to. That will give you those necessary citations. They're going to help you really beef up your NAP, your name, address, and phone number citations across the web. So I've got a duplicate version of that slide. So that's really what you want to do from a Google Places perspective, and getting on the Google map. You want to make sure that you've planned your online listing. And again, I'm going to emphasize, go do that right away if you haven't. That you've built out the listing, you've optimized your website, you've got real customer reviews and a strategy for getting real customer reviews in place, and then go out and get citations. One thing I just want to kind of elaborate on is getting reviews. One of the things I recommend is, first of all, sending an email out to all of your current customers and friends and family, telling them, hey, look, I'm on Google Places. I appreciate your business, all of these years. I appreciate your friendship. I need your help. Go to my Google Places page and write me a review. And make sure you give them a link and some ideas on what you'd like them to say. That'll help you get some reviews right away. But also foster a ongoing acquisition of reviews into the way that you operate. Get some little business cards printed out for your team that have your Google Places link. We call it a share the love card in our organization. But what that is, it's just somebody says something good about you, or somebody says, hey, thanks so much for coming out after hours, or thanks for actually showing up and doing a good job on this service call. Train your guys and have an open ear to say, wow, well, thanks so much. If you'd be willing to write a review for us on Google Places, that would really help us out, and we'd really appreciate it. Hand that card to them. These are the types of things, when done consistently, are going to help establish your footprint, establish that review profile, and significantly improve the probability of showing up on the Google map. So let's talk about search engine optimization, or the process of getting your company to show up more in the organic search area of the search engines. So our philosophy on search engine optimization for plumbing and heating contractors is, initially you need to have more placeholders on the search engines. And I'm going to talk about that in more depth here in a minute, but it really comes down to, rather than just having home, about us, our services, and contact us, you need to have more pages that clearly define the areas that you operate in and clearly define the different variety of services and brands that you service. Then you need to optimize the website. There's some specific things that you can do to make it easier for Google to understand what your website and what the pages on your website are all about. And then, at the end of the day, what it real comes down to is the number of inbound links, quality inbound links that you have pointing back to your website. And I'm going to elaborate on each of these in more depth. But before we go there, you need to understand that no search engine optimization strategy is sound without quality keyword research. You have to know what people are searching for so that you can build the pages on your website combined with those keywords and the cities that you operate in. So we've developed a list of what's the 50 most commonly searched plumbing and heating related keywords. I've got them up on the screen. For plumbing, we've got plumber, plumbing contractor, residential plumber, 24-hour emergency plumber, 24-hour emergency plumbing, and the list goes on and on. And I show this to you because you can see there's a lot of different variations and permutations of how somebody would type in, plumbing related services. And you want to make sure that you've got the basis covered for each of these different keyword combinations, combined with not just your main city, but all the other cities that you operate in. Within AC, I've got it formatted a little bit differently. We've got air conditioning, AC repair, heating contractor, cooling and heating repair, furnace replacement, and the list goes on. If you want to get a copy of these keywords, because there's no way for you to write this down while we're talking, we'll try and pause the screen and retype it. Just go to plumberseo.net/free. You'll actually be able to enter your name and email address, and I'll send you a guide that includes the 50 most commonly searched plumbing and heating related keywords, so that you can leverage that list and implement it into your SEO strategy. Alternatively, if you're sitting in a place where you can send a quick text message and it'd be easier for you, you can text your name and email address to 305-240-6945. That'll automatically add you to my free guide download, and I'll send it out to you immediately, so you'll have this list of keywords. Okay, so you need to have more placeholders on the search engines, or more pages. And I talked about this briefly, but the typical plumbing site that we deal with, or heating site that we deal with, is home, about us, our services, coupons, and then contact us, right? And that's kind of what we see. And I know some plumbing contractors, some heating contractors have taken a little bit further than that, but it's really missing the boat, because every page on your website can really only be optimized for between a maximum of 1 to 2 keyword combinations. So just going back to that list of keywords I was just showing you, there's literally hundreds of different keywords that somebody might type in if they're looking for your services, right? So you need to have a lot more pages on your website so that you can be optimized for those different keyword combinations. So here's our strategy and how we think you should build out your website. Granted, you still need to have home, about us, coupons, contact us. Those are base, right? You want to have those pages. In addition to that, you want to have subpages for each of your major services, right? So you do emergency plumbing, you do AC repair, you do commercial plumbing, you do leak detection, bathroom remodeling, and the list goes on and on, right? These are the main services that you offer. You need to have a page on your website for each one of those services, combined with the different cities that you operate in. In addition to that, you need to have a main plumber page, or plumber and plumbing page, or heating contractor HVAC page for each one of the cities that you operate in. And typically, what we find is there's one anchor city that's the primary city that you operate in. But in and around that city, there are at least 10 to 15 sub-cities, because a typical HVAC plumbing contractor is servicing somewhere between 25 and 50 mile radius, typically. And that's going to include a minimum of 10 to 30 sub-cities in and around that city. So what you need to do is you need to create sub-pages for each one of those sub-cities that are important to you, combined with plumber, plumbing contractor. And what this does is it scales your website out. So you're going to have literally hundreds of pages on your website, hundreds of placeholders, but it optimizes your website for all the different keyword combinations and all the different areas that you operate in. And that might seem like a daunting task. Obviously, there's a lot of work associated with it, but this is really the way to do this correctly and maximize your potential for showing up as people are looking for what you do, and really to get your phone ringing. Now, we talked about on-page optimization and all the things you can do to make it easier for Google to understand what your page is about. Well, one of the most important things you can do, and one of the biggest criteria that Google looks at to determine what your page is about, is your title tag. And on the screen here, you've got title tag pointing to that bar along the top. That's an HTML edit. It's very simple. Either your web designer would know how to do it, or maybe you could figure it out. It's not that hard, but that's essential. That needs to be optimized for the keywords that are most important to you, and it needs to be different on all of the pages of your website. But just looking at a typical title tag on a typical plumbing or heating website, if your company is Joe's Plumbing Service, typically what we see on that title tag is Joe's Plumbing Service, and it might be that on the homepage, and it might be that on pretty much every page of the website. What I'm going to encourage is you update that to read your primary city plus plumber, right? And then a little space, and then the name of your company. So you can still brand your company and make sure your company name is included in that title tag. And then another primary service that you offer, whether that's commercial plumbing, or AC repair, whatever it is, you want to include those most important keywords on your homepage, and the most important ones furthest to the left or at the front of the title. This is a huge determinant. In a lot of cases, just updating the title tag will significantly improve your placement for the words that you think are most important. From there are some other specific things that you can do. You want to make sure you've got a unique title tag on each one of your pages. So as I talked about, if you've got home, about us, our services, and then all of your sub-services, if you've got a page that's for drain cleaning, you want it to be our city drain cleaning, and you want that to be the title tag. And then if it's bathroom remodeling, your primary city plus bathroom remodeling, and you want to make sure you have that unique title tag on each one of the pages of the website. From there, you want to have your H1 tag. And excuse me, I'm assuming maybe a little bit too much HTML knowledge here, but if you download my guide, I kind of explain this in more depth and more detail and give you some specific how-tos on how to implement this type of stuff. You want to have a specific H1 tag reiterating what that page is about or what that keyword is for that page. When you've got images on your site, and you should have images, you want to make sure that you name that image file the keyword that page is optimized for. So your city plus plumber, go ahead and name the image your city plus plumber, and then make sure there's an alt tag attribution, which also Google looks at it and says, okay, that's an image that's this city plus plumbing. The URLs should contain your primary keyword. So if we created a page that was your city drain cleaning service, we want to make sure that the title tag says your city plus drain cleaning service, but an image called your city plus drain cleaning service. And we want to make sure that URL is, rather than just yourcompany.com / page 5, we want it to be yourcompany.com / your city drain cleaning. Anchor text, which is the words that are hyperlinked to another page on your website. You want to have a clear anchor text structure for your most important keywords along your footer. And then you want to submit an XML sitemap. And an XML sitemap is basically it's a document that you put on your website that you can submit to Google and Bing. And what it does is it helps them understand all of the pages that you have on your website. So when Google looks at your site, instead of just seeing home and about us, or maybe one or two of the pages that you made, since you spent all this time and energy making all of these different pages for all of your different services, this XML sitemap makes sure that Google and Bing know, okay, this site has 110 pages, and this is what these 110 pages are about. And so I apologize if I went into a little more depth on it. I know, sometimes I like to be specific and I like to give actionable ideas. So that's why I go through this. But ultimately, if you create the pages for the different services and areas that you operate in, you have the unique title tag, an H1 tag, you get images that are optimized for those keywords, and you've updated the URLs and the alt tag attributions, you've got an anchor text navigation structure. Google's going to really start to understand what your site's about, and it's going to be able to put you in the index for all of those different keyword combinations. And remember, just because we've got these pages built out, right? Just because we've got this content doesn't mean that we're going to be in spot one for all those different keywords. What it means is, well, now we've got a placeholder in Google for our city plus plumber, our city plus HVAC, our city plus drain cleaning, our city plus all of those different keywords. What's going to determine where that page shows up on the search engines, position number 1 versus position number 35, or page 17, is going to be the number of inbound links pointing to that website and to those subpages on that website, or to that specific page. So 70% or more of the battle is getting links to your website, right? 30% of the battle is just doing what we talked about, updating the website, building out the pages, making sure you've got the right content. So ultimately, it's going to be more about the links and the websites pointing to your website than it is about having the page set up, right? That's only going to get you so far. So what are some link building strategies? Well, this is really the secret to getting placed on the search engines. Right? Almost anybody nowadays can put up a website and start to figure out how to optimize the pages. But here's where you can separate the men from the boys, so to speak. And here's how you can get your company to show up on the top of the search engines for your plumbing and heating related keywords. And it's all about inbound links. So here's some ideas and strategies for getting inbound links. Number one, make sure that you've got a link pointing to your website from all of the associations you belong to. You're a member of the PHCC because you're on this call or on this webinar. You're watching this webinar. Make sure you've got a link pointing back to your website from the PHCC. If you're a member of the local state organization, they typically have a website with a directory of all the contractors that are members. Make sure you've got a link pointing back to your site from that. If you're a member of the Chamber of Commerce, all of the different places that you're affiliated with, those are high quality links that are relatively easy to get that you can get back to your website. Go out and claim your local directory listings. I talked about this earlier, but by adding yourself to Angie's List and Judy's Book and to Yahoo Local and to Yelp.com and some of these other online directory sites that are free to get listed in, it's going to give you more exposure, which is good, but it's also going to give you a valuable inbound link. Two other things that you can do to get quality inbound links to your websites. Number one, create interesting content. Write articles about the plumbing industry. Write articles about the differences between one type of water heater and another. And then take that content, put it on a blog on your website, whether it's on your website or on blogger.com. That's a place where you can put content and add value to the internet. But then take that content and put it up to article directory sites. There are sites online that want content because they can sell advertising based on the people or the eyeballs that go to their site. So they'll let you submit your information or submit your valuable content to them free of charge. So you can take one article, put it out to multiple websites that store it and want it, but at the same time create inbound links from those articles that you wrote back to your website and to the various pages on your website. This is probably one of the best sources of inbound links that we get for our clients, and that's by creating content, writing articles, creating videos, creating audio files, getting them out on different places on the internet, and creating literally hundreds and thousands of inbound links to our clients' websites. And you can do the same thing. Create content, push it out online. The other very important strategy that you can implement is competitive link acquisition. Right? I talked about the fact that positioning on the search engines all comes down to the number of inbound links pointing to your website and to the sub-pages on your website. So if we want to search for your city plus plumber or your city plus HVAC, inevitably there's going to be those companies that are on page 1 in the top 10 positions. And obviously they've done something right. They've probably got the website optimized, and more importantly, they've got those coveted inbound links that you would need in order to catch up with them. So what we do, and you can do as well, is use some tools to research who's linking to your competition. Look at the number one guy, and there are a lot of tools to use, but the free tool that I recommend for you, if you want to go out and try this, is go to yahoo.com, and here's another thing you might want to write down, yahoo.com, and just run a search for link, whatever the domain of your competition is, .com. And when you search that, Yahoo Site Explorer, they have a tool that will show you all of the inbound links pointing back to that website. So now you can see the guy that's in position 1, all of the people that are linking to him, and one by one, systematically get those same links pointed back to you. Now, you won't be able to get all of them, but you'll be able to get a couple from probably just about everybody that's on page 1. And if you do that, and you write articles and you push that content out, and you get links from your associations, and you make sure you're added to the directory listings that I'm talking about, over time, you're going to start to dominate the search engines for the keywords that are most important to you. And by positioning yourself for those keywords, you're going to be in position as people are looking, where the number one place people go when they look for plumbing and heating related services. And your phone will start to ring, and you'll start to say, man, I'm glad I spent all this time and energy. I can see how I'm getting return on investment from this. So I talked about online directories, right? And the fact that you used to be able to place a nice size ad in the yellow pages and be covered, right? I mean, that's where people went when they were looking. Well, now it's kind of more fractured, right? Some people go to Yahoo, some go to Bing, some go to Google. A lot of people go to Google. But people are also going to online directories. And there's some very specific online directories that I recommend for plumbing and heating contractors. Obviously, Google Places, Yahoo Local, YellowPages.com, Merchant Circle. Now, one of the ones that we've seen our top clients are actively involved in and getting a lot of business from is Angie's List. Angie's List is a major online directory, and the demographic of people that pay for access to Angie's List so that they can get qualified contractors tend to be the type of people that you want to be doing business with anyways. So, I recommend getting actively involved in Angie's List. Make sure you've got your profile set up. Make sure that you're getting reviews on Angie's List, and build a name for yourself in Angie's List. It can be a great source of business for you. Another one that's important is kudzu.com, solid online directory, citysearch.com, and yelp.com. If you get yourself actively involved in those online directories that I just mentioned, you'll be in a good position. And to really make sure you're showing up as often as possible wherever people are looking for your plumbing and heating related terms. Again, I've got a guide that explains and actually lists out all of these online directories you want to make sure that you're added to. So let's talk about social media. And as I talk to plumbing contractors and heating contractors, typically what they say is, nonsense. Who cares about social media? I don't see how it applies to my business. And the fact is, social media is very hot right now. You hear stories about it. Everybody's buzzing. Oh my goodness. Facebook and Twitter. But I really want to give you some ideas that you can implement to help you leverage these tools and leverage the buzz around social media in a way that's going to help you connect with your customers on a deeper level and get more repeat and referral based business. Sorry, let me go back there. But in order to set it up, really the way I like to think about social media for plumbing and heating contractors is, what's your number one source of business right now? Where do you get most of your business? And if you just stop and think about that for a second, I'm sure you and everybody else on today's call says, my number one source of business is repeat business and referral business. Right? I can hear you all nodding. Yeah, that's right. That's where we get most of our business. And hopefully this, internet stuff you're teaching us is going to help. But social media gives you the opportunity to take that business, right, that referral and word of mouth business to a whole nother level. Because a large portion of the population is actively involved in social media, especially Facebook, and some of them on Twitter, some of them on YouTube. So if you can get actively involved and you can get your legitimate customers and your legitimate friends and your sphere of influence to go to a Facebook page that has your name on it, that talks about your business, every one of them that engages with you in that way is going to be able to basically tell all of their friends about you, because the average Facebook user has 135 friends on Facebook. So if they go to Facebook.com and they look up your business and they press the like button, by virtue of them liking you, now 135 of their friends are exposed to your brand, and it's almost as if they made a call to each one of their friends and said, hey, I have a really, really good plumbing or heating contractor that I work with, and I highly recommend them. If you ever need somebody like that, I'll be glad to connect you with them. And so you can see how the value of that could be pretty significant, right? Because it gives you that exposure to their extended circle of influence. But beyond that, you're able to consistently put information out now on social media, just information, what's going on within the business, specials, offerings, and promotions, what's going on with you guys, And that helps to keep you top of mind with all of those people that have liked you on social media. And so that's the way I really feel like you can leverage social media right away to help you get more repeat business and more referral business, which is the lifeblood of pretty much every organization. So where do you start? How can you get started with social media? Well, the first thing you want to do is set up a Facebook business page. Again, my guide explains exactly how to do this in step-by-step type of sequence. It's not that hard. It's not as hard as you might be thinking in your head. Then go ahead and set up a Twitter profile for your company. Make sure you're on LinkedIn. That's a personal profile for yourself and a business profile on LinkedIn. Set up a YouTube channel. You might say, why would I need a YouTube channel? YouTube is the second most searched search engine. Now pause because that is pretty significant. There's more people searching on YouTube than there are on Bing and Yahoo and some of these other major search engines you hear about. So if you can create content that's interesting, upload it to YouTube, you can create a lot of potential and a lot of inbound opportunity. So you want to have a YouTube channel. You want to make sure you set up a Google Plus profile. Google Plus is, at least at the time of this recording, is the new social media tool by Google, and it's getting a lot of traction. And you want to have a blog for your website, something that's yourcompany.com/blog, where you can put updated, content. You're going to be writing content to create inbound links. You want to have a place to post that. And this is really where I feel as a plumbing and heating contractor is your sweet spot for social media. These are the tools, these are the online profiles that you want to get involved in. From there, you want to send an email blast out to your email list if you have one. And I know some of you do, some of you don't. If you do, you want to do this. You want to send an email blast letting your friends, your circle of influence, your past customers know that you're actively involved in these social media profiles, and then offer them some type of incentive to connect with you on social media. Maybe a discount on the next purchase, maybe something of value that you can offer that you can give to them for free, or a discount for their friends and family. Give them incentive, because if they like you, if they follow you, remember, you're getting exposure to their extended circle of influence, and you're also getting the opportunity to touch them more often and create more top-of-mind awareness. From there, now you've got your social media profiles, you got to be proactive and you got to continue to put valuable content online. The one thing I'm going to recommend though, don't just put, special discount, discount on this, discount on that. People don't care about you all of that much. They don't want to hear about your discounts. They don't want to know 100% of what's going on within your company. But they do want to keep aware of important topics that are happening within the industry, that are happening within their state or city that they live in. So put information that's more informational. The differences between this and that. How to make sure you hire the right contractor. How to make sure you avoid getting ripped off. These are the types of things that add value to the community and will keep people wanting to engage with you on social media. And then maybe 10% of the time put information that is promotional. A special offer, a discount. And this is the way to really leverage social media to connect with your customers, connect with your friends, and get more repeat and referral business. So just to recap, I know we've covered a lot, but map optimization. You need to claim your map listing, and again, take out that notepad, circle it, google.com/places. Make sure that you've listed yourself on Google Places and you've gone through the verification process. From there, go ahead and build out your map listing. Make sure you've built it out and start to obtain some citations. From a search engine optimization perspective, you want to build out your website. No more 5-page home about us, our services, contact us. Create pages for each one of the different services you operate in and that you offer, and each one of the different areas that you operate in. Another, extremely important point on this: update your title tag. If there's 2 or 3 things you do from today's webinar that you actually take action on immediately, number 1, claim your map listing. Number 2, update the title tag on your homepage, if nothing else. Get inbound links. Start to leverage social media as an opportunity to connect with your customers, drive referrals, drive repeat business, which is the lifeblood of your organization. And then use email to shore up all of your online marketing efforts. Use email to thank your customers and ask for reviews, and also use emails to let customers know that you're engaged in social media and invite them to follow you on Facebook. So I hope that you found today's information valuable. I hope you found it insightful. I'm sure there's some nuggets in here that you can take and run with. But right now you're probably going to be in one of two positions. Either you're thinking, man, this is great information. I'm glad, that I've learned this. I feel like there are some things I can do immediately. I feel like if I can get my hands on that guide that you keep talking about, I can take these ideas and I can do it on my own. Some of you, however, might be in the position that you'd say to yourself, this sounds like great information. I understand the opportunity. I know that internet is where it's at. I know I need to get myself online for all of those different plumbing and heating related keywords when people are searching. I need to get involved in social media, but this isn't my business, right? My business is providing service to my clients. I need to hire an expert. I need somebody that understands these tools, understands this process, and can implement it for me. So I've got an opportunity or an option for both of those different perspectives. If you're thinking that you'd like to do it on your own and you'd like to implement some of these strategies by yourself, I'm going to suggest that you go to download my free guide. You can go to plumberseo.net/free or dial 305-851-2067, send a text message with your name and phone number, and I'll get my guide out to you. My guide is very comprehensive. It's over 58 pages, and it talks you step by step through how to claim your map listing, how to optimize your map listing, how to do some of the on-page SEO that I talked about, the specific pages you want to build, specific link building strategies, links to the different directories that you want to get added to. So this is a valuable resource that you want to get your hands on. And all you have to do is go to plumberseo.net/free, enter your name and email address, and I'll send that guide out to you completely free of charge. Now, if you're in the position where you're that person that says, you know what, this is great, but I need somebody to do this for me. I'm not going to be able to do this on my own, and I want to make sure I work with somebody that knows what they're doing. Well, you've got the right guy. I specialize in working with plumbing and heating contractors. I understand this. I've written a book on internet marketing for the plumbing and heating industry. I have worked with some of the most competitive, some plumbing and heating contractors in some of the most competitive markets in the United States. I can help you make this work. However, I only work with one plumbing or heating contractor in each major city. So, if you're interested in working with me, I would suggest that you call me sooner than later before your area is already claimed. You can reach me directly at 866-610-4647, and we can talk about it. And I can kind of explain more about our program and how it works and what we specifically will do. If you'd like to have me take a look at your website, if you'd like to have me do a review and come up with some ideas and strategies based on your specific scenario, go to plumberseo.net/assessment, and what I'll do is I'll review your website personally and give you my thoughts and feedback on how it can be improved. So that, those are the options. Give me a call if you'd like to work with me directly, if you'd like me to do this for you, or go to plumberseo.net/free and download my free guide. Guys, it's been a pleasure. I appreciate the opportunity to serve you. I really hope that you found value in the information that we provided today, and I look forward to continuing to bring this type of information to your attention.